Welcome back to another one of these Beefcast productions. I am your casting host, none other than Beef. I hope that you are all having a very good day today. I am myself, and so I extend that invitation to all of you. Join me on my good day. Anyway, back to where we are. We are here on ESV Core Hall Compound, and we are here once again in the Assembly Winter Asus Republic of Gamers tournament in Helsinki, Finland. Well, we're not actually there. This happened about 3 months ago, but we'll pretend that we're there. I'm going to be Total Biscuit. You guys can be Apollo, okay? No, but we're here in the round of 4, the semifinals, game 2 of this ZVT. Game 1 going to our Terran player, and let's see if our Zerg can pull it out. In the top right-hand corner, we do have the ace of Team SCV Life. Kind of redundant. Team SCV Life? Who cares? He is Polt Prime. And in the bottom left, the red Zerg being played by one of the stars of Team FXO. He is Lucky. So game 1 there. On Daybreak, the Terran player was actually able to very effectively put some early game harass with the Hellions. Not really so much economic harass, but really just being able to prevent the creep spread and prevent the Zerg from being able to get down his early third. As a result, the Zerg was never really able to get down his third. Medivacs came out, Hellions were still on the map, and the Zerg just had an exceptionally hard time getting his third down. A Zerg on equal economy with the Terran is in a highly unfavorable situation. So the Terran was just able to macro up from there, able to get upgrades on his Marines, move into Siege Tank and eventually Thor play, and Mutas just were not able to get enough effective harass into the army and ever able to get any effective engagements with the assistance of Zerglings and Banelings. And just like that, Lucky lost game 1. So the first thing that we saw here was that Lucky was actually able to get into the base before Polt dropped his wall, which is something that's unusual for Polt. Polt will often send out a scouting SCV at 12 supply, and he'll actually drop the second supply depot on his way out with the scouting SCV, and then he'll use the halt command. Default button is T, and then he'll just keep that SCV going. But the SCV will start at about 50 life, and the drone won't be able to get past it, completing the full wall without actually losing much time, just the minerals. But once again, we do see a little bit of bunker pressure coming up here, and the Zerg did take his spawning pool a little bit later than you would like to be able to try to defend this. But we'll see 3 drones coming out once again, see if the Zerg is able to get this SCV just like he did last time. But the SCV going to be doing a little bit of dancing here, and 8 Zerglings coming out. That's 4 more Zerglings than you'd like to have to make at this point as a Zerg, especially with an early gas like this. And so already forcing a little bit of indirect damage. Those Zerglings should have been drones, and so as a result, it's almost like you're killing 2 drones, because those Zerglings are otherwise going to be relatively worthless at this stage. With this bunker completed, the Marines are going to be able to fall back pretty easily, and they're actually going to be able to get a lot of effective damage here. Not a good surround there on those Zerglings. The SCV is going to want to be able to get in there to do some repairing, but he's going to have to do a little bit of dancing in and out right there. Not going to be able to get a salvage off here, his Polt, so that is unfortunate. He lost more than he should have there, and yeah, that pressure wasn't able to do as much damage as I think that either I or Polt would have liked to. But it did do, like I said, a little bit of that indirect economic damage, and it forced 10 Zerglings in total, and then the Zerg lost about 6 of those, and I don't think he lost any drones behind that either. But now the Zerglings are just going to be able to do a little bit of scouting. They're going to go out to different bases, make sure there's no proxy situations going on, make sure there's no proxy starports with Cloak Banshees, but Polt's playing it straight by the books over here. Going to be going for a Reactor Hellion Expand, and that was something nice that the Zerg was able to see when he got into the base. We'll take a look at the Zerg's vision right here, and when he got in the base, he sent that worker out at about 9 supply, being able to get in there pretty early, but he already saw the gas coming up right about that time. And so that timing tells you there's not going to be any kind of 2-rack shenanigans going on. There might be something like a 4 racks with Reactor all-in coming, but you don't really know that for sure. And once he got that second Zergling in right there, he was actually able to see that there was, in fact, a barracks spec here with a tech lab, a Marauder, and a barracks being built on the reactor. And he already found the Hellions, so he knows that there's a factory in there as well. So he's going to be able to ascertain from this that this is indeed very standard play from our Terran player. Going to be sending another Zergling up there just to keep on scouting, making sure there's no shenanigans coming. But with 3 racks, factory with the tech lab, actually, this is going to be a marine tank push. Something that the Zerg was not going to be able to see, because from the front, this looks like it might be something relatively standard. But back here, we don't see any medevacs coming out from a starport. We're actually going to see tanks. In addition to that one Marauder right there, something a little bit unusual. Once again, back home from the Zerg, we do see that these Hellions are going to be able to do pretty effective containment. However, unlike Daybreak, you are able to spread creep up here along the tops of the ridges. And that's very effective because the Hellions aren't going to be able to get to those without scanning. And so you're either going to force the scan, or you're going to be able to start spreading creep all the way over here. And then as soon as the Hellions are gone, you can just throw the creep right down. It's a very effective way to do it. This Overlord is going to be able to spot that there is a command center that's going to be landing over here. So let's take a look there. He doesn't see it, but he pokes right in. He says, okay, there's a command center. There's no kind of all-in coming. But with this tank that has not been spotted yet, the Zerg could be in for a little bit of a rude awakening. Macro Hatch back at home has gone down, finishing up right now. And otherwise, you're going to see some double upgrades coming out for melee, along with a Baneling Nest. And I would expect to see Infestors coming out behind this. But 2-base Infestor with double upgrades is a very gas-starved build, especially with Banelings as well. I don't know how the Zerg's going to be able to fare being only on 2-base. You're not going to have enough gas to support all that. And once he chooses his lair tech, whether that's just going to be Baneling speed, or if he's going to be going for those infestors, we'll see that gas count that's up to 400 right now. We'll see that plummet very fast. At home, the Terran has started construction of a starport over here. Where is it? There it is. And I would expect that that will get a reactor at some point. Oh, excellent surround with these Zerglings over here, able to take out 3 out of the 4 Hellions. The last one is going to be able to escape for the time being, but these Zerglings are going to be able to reassert some of this map control, and as soon as we see all that clear up, there should be a drone coming out here any second to start plopping down a expansion. Why haven't you expanded yet, Lucky? Odd. But like I said, up here, creep tumors on the ridge, able to plop down immediately. As soon as those Hellions are gone, you're able to start spreading the creep to where you need it to be. And like I said, we did see that infestation pit come down, and so he's going to be saving up quite a bit of Vespene. So he's going to be able to get out something like 6 infestors with that, or a couple less infestors, and be able to get some banelings. If he gets baneling speed, then we'll go ahead and see how that happens. But the Terran does drop a scan right there, but unfortunately he wasn't really able to see much with it. The Zerg very smartly dropping his high choice tech down here at the expansion, out of scan range for the Terran. I wouldn't be surprised to see Polt drop another scan here. Back home, Polt has started +1 for his engineering bay, but we are in this very odd situation where the Zerg has actually out-upgraded the Terran. So the Zerg's at 1-1 right now, and the Terran hasn't even finished +1. Excellent play right here from Lucky, moving that Overlord that was previously over here. With that lair tech, he is going to be able to drop creep on there, and as soon as burrow is done, if it ever finishes, the Zergling will actually burrow beneath that. So the Terran's actually going to be like, okay, I'm going to wait for that creep to recede, then I'm going to drop my command center. And you can be like, I still can't do it. Is there some creep I haven't seen there? And then no, that's actually not the way it is. But there's actually a Zergling burrowed up there. Core Hall Compound is actually a very difficult map here for Zerg to take a third on, just because of this place right here. The tanks are able to siege up here onto the high ground, and it's a very, very bad angle for the Zerg to engage an army that is right there, and then you just send down a little strike force of about 6 Marines, and you end up having to take this fourth over here. A lot of the times you see ramps up rather than ramps down. And so that's a better area for a Zerg to take that, but it's a lot further away from your natural. We are going to see a large engagement here. Zerglings are going to be rushing in. Infestors aren't going to be able to get the best fungals because the Marines aren't right there yet, but here they come. Here come the Zerglings. The Zerglings aren't going to be able to get there, and we do see some pretty nice fungals, but the Infestors have taken a lot of damage, and the Zergling numbers have been thinned out by a substantial margin. Polt's going to choose to just go back home, say, hey, I've done a pretty good amount of damage there. He ended up killing 1 Infestor and quite a few Zerglings. Zerglings are going to be able to go over here and wisely start scouting all these other bases, try to take Zelnaga Towers. As soon as you win an engagement as Zerg, you need to be taking your scouting information back. You need to take map control. With Zergling Infestor, it's a very, very mobile army composition, so you need to be able to assert map control at all time. You want to be able to see things coming before they are on your side of the map, so that you can choose where to engage and ideally get onto an unsieged target. But just like last game, we do actually see that the Terran has effectively denied the Zerg from taking a third. We do see one coming up right here. And we do see a fourth plop down over here, but with no drones transferred to that just yet, it's not really going to kick in for at least another minute or two. And even being on 3 base right now isn't exactly the place that Lucky wants to be, because we do see a command center floating over there. It's going to be morphed into a planetary. It's not already an orbital, so that will be a planetary. The reason for that being that you want to upgrade the orbital as soon as you can, so that while it's floating, it's going to start accumulating energy. But the Zerg has actually allowed the Terran to take the high ground right here, and if these tanks siege up right now, that's going to be a highly unfavorable position. Unfortunately, with the Terran being a relatively immobile army with those tanks, the Zerg can actually threaten the counterattack right now. He's going to be able to go ahead and try to force this a liftoff over here on the third. If he starts that into a planetary right now, that's going to be a bad idea. Yeah, very wisely not doing that, but he is trading his own third for this. Well, fourth, I guess. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Oh, man. Really caught something in my throat right there. But at home, the Zerg actually has gone Hive Tech and is starting plus 3-3. Meanwhile, the Terran is only at plus 1-1. So once again, the Zerg is going to have a massive upgrade lead here for at least a couple of minutes. And the Zerglings are just going to be able to shred through things like Marines and even tanks. I think it's something like 3 Zerglings will actually take down a tank if you're able to spread those Zerglings the most effective. Oh, that's kind of stupid to say, because once the Zerglings get onto the tank, one Zergling will kill a tank. But what I was trying to say was that even an unsieged tank, if you get the Zerglings over there, 3 of them should be able to kill a tank at 3-3 versus +1. Sorry. A little bit weird to say. We do see that infestors have burrowed over here, and Zerglings are going to be trying to force another cancel on this planetary right now, taking out a couple of SCVs and then getting out of there. Minimal losses, great job. And the Terran has effectively denied this fourth once again, but the Zerg will likely expand up into this location. However, that's not a good place to be, because that's so close to the planetary. Look at how close the planetary is from that fourth. But with the Zergling spotting up there, we do see that the Terran is going to be in a relatively difficult to push out from position. If the Zerg can effectively contain the Terran right here, I'll pray for it. Do not pray for a scan. Don't scan. Oh, beautiful job from the Zerg there, trying to make effective use of that burrow, and the Zergling's going to be able to come in there, and with that upgrade lead, they're going to be able to just absolutely shred through the army. Marauders do absolutely awful against Zerglings, and dropping a couple infested Terran there, along with Fungals, going to clean up all 5 of those medevacs, unless he misses the Fungal on that one. And actually only cleaning up 3 out of the 5. That was a lot of energy to waste. 4 Fungals and 5 infested Terran. That was a lot of energy to waste to only get 3 medevacs when you should have gotten 5. So a little bit of a misplay there. But back home, we do see some unrallied Zerglings and a couple of infestors, just trying to make sure to keep this base safe right here. And the Zerg is going to be able to pick up on this push. Very nice job with that scouting Zergling. And we do see Ultras in production right now. So those Ultras are going to be coming out within the next 30 seconds here. Only one of them coming right here. And the Infestor going to be able to do very well with those infestations, fungal growths, but that Marauder cleaning up through that Infestor, going to be able to 4-shot him. But we do see a very nice job of dropping infested Terran on top of those tanks, trying to draw fire onto one another, let the friendly fire do its work. Queen going to be able to go down right there, but Ultra is going to come in and try to clean up anything that they can. Ultra is charging into the siege tank line. I think the Zerg's in a very favorable position right now. The Terran army is really diminished, and there's the GG. Let's take a look. The supply was down to 103, and of that, 56 was SCVs. So the army supply really down to only about 47 right there. And yeah, very nice play out of our Zerg player. Not able to take that third, instead chose very quickly to go ahead and expand to that fourth location right there. And yeah, strong play out of Lucky, and I think he's got a serious shot at coming back in this series. So anyway, once again, I have been your casting host, Beef. Thank you very much for watching this Beefcast presentation. We will be going on to Game 3 of the semifinal series from Assembly Winter. And as usual, I am still very new to casting. I'm very open and receptive and happy to take any comments or criticism that you have. Please go ahead and comment on these videos on YouTube. I will read every single one of those comments. And the ones that are giving me any kind of feedback for casting, I will reply to every single one of those. So please do. I need to know what I'm doing well, what I need to work on, and what you guys think I can do to make your watching experience better via my casting. Once again, thank you, and we'll be right back with Game 3.